I promised you breaking news. Here it is. Vinny O'Connor, deliver it.
Alexander Isak is officially a Liverpool player. Alexander Isak is Liverpool's new number 9. They've confirmed it officially now. He has signed in a British record transfer of £125 million, and he has signed a 6-year contract with Liverpool. And he's had this to say: it's been a long journey to get here, but I'm super happy to be a part of this team, this club, and everything it stands for. It's something I'm proud of, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just happy it's done and that I can get back to work. I'm looking forward to seeing my teammates and the fans and getting back out there. He added, I think I have a lot to give. I think I have a lot to improve. I'm a striker, but I always want to give as much as possible to the team, mainly goals, but much more than that as well. I want to win everything. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So, yes, Liverpool have got one through the door on this deadline day. They had hoped to get Mark Gahey, but perhaps the confirmation of the signing of Alexander Isak just offsets the disappointment at missing out on Mark Gahey. But official confirmation now from Liverpool that British record transfer has gone through and Alexander Isak is their new number 9.
Thanks, Vinny. Carvey, should we just give Liverpool the title right now?
I think they were favourites before they signed Alexander Isak. They've had a stunning transfer window, even though they've missed out on Mark Gahey. I think it's probably Liverpool's best window since, 1977, when they signed Kenny Dalglish. Although I don't think they had transfer windows in those days, but brilliant window. Hats off to Liverpool. They won the league. I'm sure they're going to win the league again this season, considering the business they've done this summer.
Mark, should we be worried, though, about player power?
That's been the story of this summer, it feels like, particularly in the last 48 hours, because the two players that have agitated the most to get the move they desired, Alexander Isak and Yohan Wissa, and both of them have ultimately got their desires and wishes and they've ended up moving clubs. Mark Gahey, Jürgen Strand-Larsen, players that had the opportunity to move, that have gone about it in the right way, focused on the football, continue to play for their sides, are still at their clubs.
Exactly.
Ultimately, contract is king, and if you have a contract with someone, you will end up staying there. Now, if PIF had turned around to Alexander Isak in that meeting that happened on Monday and said, you're going nowhere, they hold the power. A legal contract is a legal contract. But what you're certainly seeing is the way that players are using social media, using their powerful voices, their millions of followers globally, to agitate and to say the right things. They're being advised by representatives and agents because they know that the best way to get this move happening is for you to do this and for you to try this and for you to do that. And that's what we've seen. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens between now and next summer, when hopefully we'll have another blockbuster window and see what kind of power players have. But then you could look at Carlos Baleba, Brighton, Manchester United interest. Brighton very firm, you're going nowhere. And Brighton have always been very firm with the players they sell. You're going nowhere until we say and we get the price. So it just depends on the ownership and the current situation with the player that they have a relationship with and the dynamic of that. And that's going to be key.
We've got to look at the two situations, though, with Isak and Wissa, because depending on who you believe, there were extenuating circumstances with both of them, because both of them came out with statements, lengthy statements, claiming that they had been promised something from their club that they could go. Now, Isak came out first, and there was 12 days of the window to go. Newcastle denied those claims with a public statement of their own. What Wissa did, he came out with a statement, but he actually said that he had it in writing, that Brentford had said to him, you will be allowed to leave for a certain amount of money come the summer transfer window. I'm not saying that Alexander Isak and Yohan Wissa have behaved correctly. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that there is another side to this story. And Alexander Isak and Yohan Wissa, one has actually left Newcastle under those circumstances and one has actually joined Newcastle under those circumstances. And both of them claim that their previous clubs now had promised them something that they feel wasn't being delivered upon.
Carvey, with the Isak deal going through, that's over £3 billion spent in this summer. Do we need to make sure that people are aware that clubs are actually selling as well and making some of that money back?
Yeah, I think the important figure is the net spend. okay, clubs spend a lot of money on players, but they also make a lot of money from selling players as well. And the Premier League has pretty strict PSR rules. There's also UEFA's financial rules to consider as well. If you take these figures in isolation, yes, they look like enormous sums. For instance, you could say Liverpool have spent £400 million this summer, but look at their net spend. They've made so much money from selling players as well. And also, last summer, they hardly spent any money at all. And Liverpool are a hugely successful commercial juggernaut. And every penny that they spend is a penny that they can afford to spend.
Okay, all right, so we've had the Liverpool side of things. Let's get the Newcastle side of things about Alexander Isak. Keith Downey is there for us. Keith, we've heard Alexander Isak waxing lyrical about becoming a Liverpool player. What's Newcastle's response been?
Yeah, firstly, Mike, Alexander Isak has left Newcastle United and signed for Liverpool. Those are some words I never thought I would actually finally say this summer. We've spoken about it at length, haven't we, for days and weeks and months now, and finally here we are on deadline day, after the deadline, and that deal, as you rightly say, has been confirmed. Newcastle have put out their own statement, which coincided exactly with the same time that Liverpool did, a 37-word statement, club statement from Newcastle United, 2 sentences, which is incredibly short. Usually you would be thanking players and talking them about their time at the club, but no, short and sweet, and I think sums up exactly how the club as a whole feel about Alexander Isak's conduct, should I say, this summer. The statement says Newcastle United can announce the sale of striker Alexander Isak to Liverpool for a significant British record transfer fee. The Sweden international joined the Magpies from Real Sociedad in 2022 and made 109 appearances in all competitions. And that's it, Mike. Short, sweet, to the point, and as I say, I think reflects, if you read into that, it reflects exactly how everyone at the football club feels he conducted himself this summer. And look, this is the guy who scored the winning goal in the cup final back in March to end 70 years trophy drought here at Newcastle. You know, as I say, he's loved, or was loved, by the supporters. Just behind me down the street, there's still posters of him hanging from lampposts with the Newcastle kit for this season. There's kids walking around Newcastle everywhere you see, or there was, with Isak 14 shirts on their back, people with tattoos because he scored the winning goal in the cup final. And this, sadly, is how he'll be remembered.